Make a bookcase. Solo reading day, book shopping. Silent book club. Good afternoon. This weekend I'm going to be romanticizing my life. Now there are a few things specifically that I want to do. I was originally planning on going to a sketch class this evening. However, there were supposed to be train strikes this week, and so I never booked my ticket to the class because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it or not. Then the train strikes got cancelled, so by the time I knew that I could go to the class, they were already sold out. So unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to that sketch class, but I am going to be doing a cozy hobby afternoon/evening at home. I just went on a walk and it is so sunny, it is so gorgeous outside. I did buy myself a takeaway matcha, so I am kind of halfway through this, and I'm going to sit outside in the garden, drink this and do a hobby. What hobby am I doing? Well, I am going to be crocheting. Now, crocheting is a new hobby that I'm doing, but I've decided to make a bookcase and I'm currently in the process of working through it. I'm nearly done. I'm about 2/3 of the way done. So I think I can definitely finish this today. I actually bought the pattern on Etsy and then I bought the different yarns and stuff on Amazon, but I will put the links below. And I have tried to make this about 4 times in the past few evenings and I've messed it up a couple of times in terms of the sizing. However, this one I think is going pretty well and I'm nearly there. For the size, I'm essentially using the largest book that I have, which at the moment is Heat of the Everflame. And because I do read a lot of fantasy books, fantasy, romantasy, and I'm getting into sci-fi, those books tend to be larger, so I wanted my bookcase to be able to fit these, so that's why I'm using this size so that it can fit the larger books that I do have. Essentially, what went wrong the first couple of times was I used this as the thickness, but then for the height, I was using this book, and I've just realized most of my books are not this tall, so there's no point in me making one that's so big. That actually might start to annoy me a little bit because it's too big. So I decided to redo it a couple of times, and I'm making it a little bit shorter so that it fits this size, but also this thickness. So this is what I'm going with. Like I said, I'm about 2/3 of the way through, so I just want to complete this today. What has been wonderful is even though I've had to unravel and redo it about 3 times in the past few evenings, I've still enjoyed it so much because I would just follow a pattern, start crocheting, and I would be listening to an audiobook. So I've really been enjoying it. So I'm going to continue and complete that this afternoon. What is great is if I do complete that, I'm actually heading into London tomorrow and I'm going to do a bookish day. I'm going to a silent book club in the afternoon, and so in the morning I'm thinking of going to a cafe and doing a little solo reading date, and then I can go to the book club in the afternoon, and hopefully I will be able to take this case because it will be complete and I'll be able to put my book in there and take that with me, and then maybe do some book shopping tomorrow as well. But that will be for tomorrow. Today I will be continuing and completing this crocheting. I am also reading 2 books at the moment. I'm reading Lady of Ashes, which is the 3rd book in its series, and I'm reading Morning Star, which is the 3rd book in this series as well. I have mostly been listening to this as an audiobook whilst I've been crocheting, so I think I'm going to keep going with that because I've really been enjoying that. I am 52% of the way through Lady of Ashes, so I'm on chapter 27 now. I am loving this series in terms of the multi-POVs, the world building, so many different characters. I would like to go deeper into the other characters besides the FMC and the MMC and their relationship because I am getting a little bit bored with their relationship. I like the characters themselves, but their relationship is just kind of, I'm getting a bit bored of those scenes. So I would like to delve into some of the other characters and their relationships a little bit more. But other than that, I'm really enjoying the world building and the found family and the cast of characters that we have. I'm really enjoying all of that and just getting more and more into this. I'm going to continue with listening to this audiobook whilst I finish crocheting this evening. And I'm going to sit outside so that I make sure to romanticize my life and just enjoy the sunny weather, because if you didn't know already, my favorite season is summer. I love when the sun is out, so I am going to be making the most out of it. Okay, so the case is complete and I really like how it turned out. It's definitely larger than some of the ones that I've seen because I did make it for my larger books. For example, it fits a book like this size within it pretty well. So that fits in there quite nicely. And then it will also fit the books of a smaller size as well. I would rather it be like this, where there's even a little gap on the edges of the smaller books, instead of it not being able to fit my larger books. I just think it works a lot better for me. And I really like how it turned out. I do want to make one that is either completely brown or brown and white, which is going to be the one that I use for autumn and winter, but I will make that closer to those seasons. But this is so fun. I'm so glad this is done. I got a lot of practice in whilst doing this project. I do enjoy crocheting, but it does cause a lot of pain in my shoulder and my wrist, so I'm a bit wary of how often I do a crochet project, but I would like to try and make a few crochet bags and then maybe some crochet clothing items as well. But I'm going to pace myself on that because of the aches that it causes sometimes, and I don't want to overdo it and then get frustrated with it. But I really like how it turned out, even though I did have to unravel it a few times and redo it. It made me get a lot of practice in and learn a lot more about crocheting, so I'm really happy with how this turned out and I can definitely take it with me tomorrow. In terms of Lady of Ashes, I have gotten to chapter 33, so I am now 61% of the way through. Tomorrow I think I'm actually going to be reading Morning Star instead. I might even be able to finish Lady of Ashes this evening, and so tomorrow I'm going to be taking Morning Star with me because I really want to finish that book. I've been putting it off because I'm so scared, but I want to get back into the series, so I will be taking that tomorrow. As I mentioned, I'm going to a silent book club later on in the afternoon, and I also want to go to a cafe and do a little solo reading date in the morning, and hopefully I will do some book shopping. I was originally thinking of doing both of those things before I go to the silent book club, but I think that's going to be too packed and I'm not going to be able to enjoy them all properly. So instead the plan is to go to a cafe and do a little solo reading date, go to the silent book club, and then do a little bit of book shopping. Specifically, I want to go to Hatchard's in London, which I think is the oldest bookshop in London, and I've been wanting to go for so long, but I think I can definitely fit that in tomorrow. I do have a few different books that I want to get, most of which are continuations of the series that I'm reading. For example, I want to get the 4th and 5th books in the Lady of Darkness series. I also want to get the 5th and 6th books in the Red Rising series because I'm currently reading the 3rd book, Morning Star. I already have the 4th book in my room, so I would like to get the 5th and 6th books. And then the other book that I want to get is Fallen Stars, which is the 2nd book in the Heavenly Bodies series. I really liked Heavenly Bodies, so I would like to get the 2nd book and read that pretty soon. A couple of other books are, I've been in the process of reading classic books. So I read Pride and Prejudice last month. I have got the Alice in Wonderland book as well because I've never read it, and I want to read Sherlock Holmes, so I might see if I can buy an edition of that as well. And I think that's all the books that I want to get. Oh, I might join a book club, and I think the book that they're reading is going to be chosen today, so if I like the choice, then I might get that as well. I haven't quite decided on that one yet, but that is the plan in terms of book shopping and specifically what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Today, I'm so glad that I managed to get this project done because I've been wanting to do it for ages, so I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think I'm just gonna enjoy the heat, sit outside, I'm gonna do some reading, I'm gonna continue with Lady of Ashes. I do hope I can finish this today. I think it's definitely possible, especially because I'm listening to the audiobook, so I can switch between an immersive read and just listening to the audiobook whilst I'm doing other things, but that is the plan. Good morning. I have managed to read quite a lot of Lady of Ashes. Last night I got to 86% and then I just read a little bit more, so I'm now at 91% on chapter 47. I'm very much enjoying it, and I'm also starting to learn a little bit more about how this relates to the spin-off series. Originally I wasn't sure if I was going to read the spin-off series, but I probably will, as I'm definitely enjoying this a lot and the universe that we're in is just expanding, so I'm liking it a lot. I made some overnight oats this morning, so I'm gonna have that for breakfast and then I'm gonna head into London. I did think I would go to a cafe first, but since I'm having breakfast at home, I think I actually want to go to the bookshop Hatchard's first and then pick up a few books, roam around, go for a bit of a walk, and then I could head towards where the Silent Book Club is, and I can always go to a cafe around there first before I head to the Silent Book Club if I have time. I just think I would rather do that because if I try and go to a cafe, first of all, it will take a little bit longer to do that. And I think I'm in the mood to go for a bit of a walk first just because I would have just got into London. So I think that's the plan instead. I'm going to head into Hatchards. I'm not going to buy all of the books that I mentioned, but I do think I will try and get a few of them.
Magnolia Town was humming, smoke lay on the ground. Yeah, Magnolia Town was humming, smoke lay on the ground. In no face I recognize, and my baby can't be found. I left that place in summer, swore I'd be back by fall. I left that place in summer, swore I'd be back by fall. Now the porch is bare and broken, and her name's gone from the wall.
So I am in Waterstones now. Hatchards was so nice. They had a whole section on history books, a whole section on art, design and photography books, which are both subjects that I want to learn more about. So when I get to self-studying a little bit more on those subjects, I will look at those books and maybe come back to Hatchards and browse. They unfortunately didn't have Fallen Stars or Lady of Embers, but they did say that Waterstones had it, hence why I'm here. It was so nice to see so many books that I want to read. They had a whole shelf on Brandon Sanderson, Cassandra Clare, they had Twilight, they had The Maze Runner, which are all books that I really want to read, and they had these really cool editions of Lord of the Rings. Now, they were a bit too heavy for me to carry at the moment, but that is a series that I definitely want to read at some point, so I will keep in mind to maybe look at getting those editions once I start to read that series. But that was also really cool to see. Whilst I didn't manage to get any of those books, I did end up getting The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Now, technically, this wasn't on the list to get today, but it is a series that has been on the back of my mind for a while because I keep seeing it and I think it sounds like a series that I'll really, really enjoy. So I did end up picking this and I will hopefully read this soon. Whilst I'm sat here, I have got an iced drink, so I'm going to do a little bit more of reading Morningstar, then I'll browse a bit more at the books in Waterstones, hopefully pick up a couple. I can't get too many just because of how much space I have in my bag and I don't want it to be too heavy whilst I'm walking around. Once I've done that, I will then head over to where the Silent Book Club is, and I think I'll get that at a pretty good time. I might even have a bit of time to walk around before the reading sprint starts, but that's the plan. I am now on chapter 47, so I did manage to read a little bit whilst I was commuting here. back home now, and firstly, Waterstones did not go as planned. They didn't have the paperback of Fallen Stars. They didn't have Lady of Embers. I asked one of the people that worked there and they said they only had the hardback of Fallen Stars and they didn't have Lady of Embers in stock. So then I thought, okay, I do want to read the Shadowhunters series. I read a few of the books when I was younger, but I never actually completed the series and I don't have the books anymore. So I thought I could buy the first book and maybe start that soon. I went to look and they had all of the books in the series apart from the first one. So then I thought, okay, I'm currently reading the Red Rising series, maybe I get the next books in that and that way I have all of those books at home ready to read. But I couldn't find them, and I know they had Red Rising because I saw someone walk out with the first book Red Rising purchased there. So I just couldn't see it, and by that point I was just a bit tired of looking, so I ended up not buying anything at Waterstones, which I don't think has ever happened before. That book shopping spree did not go as planned, but it's fine. I can always buy them another time. In terms of the silent book club, it was at 2 till 3 p.m. I ended up getting there a little bit early, so I got there about 1:30, settled down and started reading, and it got so hot. So at about 2:30 I left because I was just getting too warm. It was right in the sun. However, I did manage to read some of Morning Star. I am now on chapter 57, so I am 85% of the way through. I did think I would get a little bit further in here, but I think because it was so warm I just kind of wanted to get out of the sun a little bit, and I ended up heading home pretty soon after that. The silent book club was really nice in the sun. It was really fun to go to, so I hope to go to more of those kind of events in the future and just keep an eye out for them. But that's where I got with Morning Star. And in terms of Lady of Ashes, I did listen to a little bit more of the audiobook whilst I was having my breakfast, and I got to chapter 50, so I am 96% of the way through Lady of Ashes. So I think I can actually finish both of these books either this evening or at least tomorrow morning, or finish one of them this evening and finish the other one tomorrow morning. That's my plan. I really enjoyed using this bookcase. It was so much fun to use something that I've actually made, so I will be making another one in a few months for autumn. I think I want it to be all brown rather than brown and white, but that will be fun to do. Now, whilst I didn't get any of the books that I thought I would, including the Sherlock Holmes, there were a few editions of Sherlock Holmes that I saw in both of the bookstores, but they weren't as nice as the edition that I saw a few weeks ago. So I will probably get the other edition once I've read a few other books and I'm actually ready to read Sherlock Holmes. But I am very excited that I finally bought this book and I can get started in this series pretty soon. I do want to finish both the Red Rising series and the Lady of Darkness series before I start a new series, but who knows, I might be in the mood to pick this up pretty soon. And because it's quite short, I feel like I probably will be in the mood to pick this up pretty soon. But I also want to read the Mistborn series, and I do have the first trilogy already, so that's also an option. But for today and tomorrow, I want to focus on finishing both of these books. It was such a lovely day in London. It was so warm. I had a wonderful time, and now I'm just gonna keep reading, hopefully in the sun, and we'll see if we manage to complete both of these books. Good morning. It is in fact the next day now, and last night I not only finished Morning Star, but I also finished Lady of Ashes. So both of these books are complete, which is wonderful. That's exactly what I wanted, and I'm so happy with how these stories are going. I'm enjoying both series. To start off with, Morning Star, I have to give this 5 stars. The way that the book started, the fear that I felt whilst reading this, and the reason that's a good thing is because it shows how much connection and attachment I have to the characters and the world and the story that's being told. I've just been having an amazing time whilst reading this series, and a lot of people say that their favorite book is the second one, Golden Sun, and whilst I really enjoyed that book, I think I might prefer Morning Star to Golden Sun. I don't know why, but I just really love this book, and I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you haven't read this series yet, definitely read it. It is sci-fi dystopian, so don't expect everything to be happy all the time because it absolutely isn't. But that's where you find your biggest connections to different characters, and I've just been loving this series. I do already have the 4th book, so I'll probably pick that up and start reading that pretty soon, but that's how the Red Rising series is going for me. Then in terms of Lady of Ashes, I am really enjoying this book and this series as well. I'm going to give this book 4.25 stars. I am loving the cast of characters that we have, how that has expanded in the past couple of books, as well as the different POVs that we get, the world building as well. The only part that I have been struggling with is the relationship between the FMC and the MMC. Whilst I like both of those characters and I like seeing them interact, sometimes I just get a little bit bored because it feels like the same thing over and over again, and I would really prefer for some of those chapters to be about maybe some other characters, maybe other characters' love stories, or just their relationships in general, and maybe some of the other dynamics in this story and in this world. So that's the main thing that I have been struggling with, where sometimes I'm just a little bit bored of those specific chapters. But other than that, I'm really enjoying the book and the series, and so I am giving this 4.25 stars, which is very good. So I will be continuing this series as well. I'm having a great time. Last night and this morning, I also did start The Assassin's Apprentice. I know, I said that I would finish these other 2 series before I start a new one, but I just had to pick it up. And I think it's so short as well, so I just thought, oh, it won't take me that long to read anyway. And maybe I just wanted a little bit of a break of these other 2 series and to start a new one. I've also really been enjoying jumping between different books in different series. I think sometimes when you're reading a long series, especially a fantasy or a sci-fi one, you kind of need a little bit of a break from the world sometimes. And so instead of just not reading anything else, being able to hop into a different world and a different series in between has been working wonderfully, and it's really helped me just to keep reading and inhaling books so quickly, and I've been loving that. So I have in fact started The Assassin's Apprentice, and I'm liking it so far. I'm very early on. I'm only on chapter 2, so I've just started it, but I'm happy that I have started a new series and a new world. Once I've completed the Red Rising series and the Lady of Darkness series, so I've got 3 books left in the Red Rising series and 2 books left in the Lady of Darkness series, then I think I'm actually also going to pick up the Mistborn trilogy and get to reading that as well. I will be doing a whole setting up my summer TBR probably next weekend, where I do a bit of a bookish weekend and I set up my summer TBR and my plans for reading over the summer. I normally do a TBR per month, but I think I want to do a whole summer TBR just because I'm reading a few different book series and I do like to jump around. I don't know if one month I end up binging one series or if I jump around a lot. So I would rather have a whole summer TBR, but I will be setting that up probably next weekend, so in the next video that you see. But I have started The Assassin's Apprentice, which I'm really happy with. I'm excited to delve into a new world with new characters. It has been so fun to just jump around and enjoy so many different things and really romanticize my life. I have to say, it's a lot easier to do that when it's sunny. When it's autumn and winter, I can definitely find cozy moments, but when it's spring, summer, I just thrive and I have so much more fun in those months. So I have loved crocheting in the garden, going on a bookish day in London, a bit of a solo day, reading more, exploring some bookshops, and finishing off a couple of books as well. So I've had a lovely time. Thank you so much for spending it with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.